What do you get when you mix open borders? Taxpayer-funded chaos, so I'll explain that. And a governor who couldn't take responsibility if it hit him in the face. Well, you get what's happening in Los Angeles, where the streets now belong to illegal immigrants. The riots are raging, and Gavin Newsom is pointing his golden finger straight at Donald Trump. Of course he is. Oh no, Gavin, this time the mirror is pointed directly at you. And sometimes in a broadcaster's career, it is better to show the sights, sounds, and images than it is to sit here and preach to you. So we're going to go through the entire story, everything that's occurred over, the last 24 hours, because I brought you another story yesterday on this. I hope you got to watch it. But Gavin Newsom wants you to believe LA burns, migrant mobs have overtaken Los Angeles, but it's Trump's fault. Local law enforcement overwhelmed, according to local law enforcement. ICE efforts are attempted to be sabotaged. Governor Gavin Newsom publicly blames Trump for provoking unrest. Because, how dare a president do his job and enforce the Constitution and the laws of the great Republic of the United States of America? But remember, follow the money. California is paying for the destruction of California. Because there's NGOs linked directly to California state funding. We're going to cover that and much more as you watch the sights and sounds of something that should never happen, except for when you don't control your city, someone else does. And now it's out in the open. And that's the story I'm going to bring you in 1 minute. Right, you didn't get to see much of me in this video. You won't see much of me in this video. So before I leave you and we get to the actual evidence that we provide here, black and white news, if you like what I'm doing, I need you to subscribe. If you think you're subscribed, I need you to double check. If you haven't joined as a member here, just see below, all these buttons exist. What are you waiting for? It keeps these lights and cameras on. Those of you who've provided super thanks to the videos you truly enjoy, thank you so very much. And those of you that have gone to our news platform, RestrictedRepublic.com. Don't let the mainstream media, don't let algorithms control what you see. No, if you don't want any of that, you got to go to RestrictedRepublic.com right now, subscribe, monthly and annual memberships, and you can assure the only algorithm that exists, is me and Lisa. And we post everything that they work day and night to assure you never see. And that is why we created, paid for, with our own dollars. No one owns us at RestrictedRepublic.com but our audience, you. And if you're not there, it ceases to exist, and another voice would be suppressed and silenced. So if you want fair, balanced, black and white reference and research news in the way you deserve, RestrictedRepublic.com. Go there right now. But now let's get back to this broadcast.
View of the Waymos. These are going to be, it looks like these are on the north side of the 101 freeway on Los Angeles Street, and from our other angle, from our other Air 7, we were seeing that one of them was actually on fire. Those Waymos, and there's that other Waymo that's on fire, and all three of these, I think I counted 4, have been completely hit by
we ask for the National Guard. We go through a multi-step process. I'm going through that now. We obviously exhaust the resources from within the Sheriff's Department first. Then I start going to other agencies. That's exactly what I'm doing now. We have access to a lot of other law enforcement agencies. If at that time we still need additional resources, we will assess if we need to request the National Guard to come in here.
You go through those steps, and at the end of it, if things are still out of control, that's when you call the National Guard from a law enforcement perspective?
I wouldn't say, Mark, that we wait till it's out of control.
Exploiting it for their own ends, like people you see here that are looting this store. They're stealing sneakers, and they're going to be selling them, and they're being caught on video from various locations.
You're seeing these authoritarian tendencies that are being acted out by this administration. And we're case in point as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines.
Tonight was bad. What we've seen subsequent to that is getting increasingly worse and more violent. Tonight we had individuals out there shooting commercial-grade fireworks at our officers. That can kill you. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers. And the National Guard was federalized. So they're working for the U.S. Army, not for the California State National Guard.
Do we need them?
Do we need them? Well, looking at it tonight, this thing has gotten out of control. I think before I could answer that, I'd have to know more about what they're capable.
But the peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe.
To throw at cars and throw at other people. We've seen people with hammers, and you broadcasted, breaking the bollards behind the federal building and taking the rocks, if you will, or pieces of concrete and throwing them at officers. We've had liquid of who knows what description thrown at officers.
But Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions.
Concrete are just, you can see on the left side of your screen just how many rocks, or it looks like
a lot of them.
Yeah, concrete, because they're pretty big.
Yeah.
Pieces of concrete are just.
You see people here trying to rip off the traffic signals.
As more rocks, that officer just got hit by a rock.
Well, now they threw it back.
And they threw back. Very dangerous situation for that officer there.
Oh, man.
Especially because they might. These are.
Those are a lot of concrete rocks.
Like that's heavy.
Yeah.
This is Donald Trump's problem right now, and if he can't solve it, we will.
So we're here in LA, the Edward R. Roybal Federal Building just over there. There's a dispersal order. We can't get in right now, but just as a quick update, I mean, you can see the police helicopter's still up. Officers are blocking the roads. We can hear explosions actually just now over there.
There's another sign there saying the Trump fascist regime must go. Lots of people, using expletives here, so we want to make sure to try to be careful. But you guys can see some of the people that are up on those fences over there trying to get attention, and of course some of those protesters right there trying to rev their engines. It looks like they're trying to intimidate these police officers that are here, and a group of people handing out those masks, N95 masks, just in case that tear gas or pepper spray is used, because we have
about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protest had started?
After the protest, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone-cold liar. He said he did. Stone-cold liar. Local law enforcement had no needs. They were not requesting any additional resources. I've got 100 now. I have 175 CHP officers, technically trained officers, tactical teams, to address Donald Trump's mess.
Demonstrations had been going on right outside the Federal Detention Center. Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful. They were chanting, they were shouting. People were driving by, honking their horns. And again, they were expressing their anger about the detention of so many immigrants at the Federal Center. Most of the evening, the federal agents stayed inside the building, but at a certain point, some of the demonstrators got very close to the property. In fact, some of them went onto the property, started tagging the building, started banging on fences, and shortly after all that happened, the agents started firing off tear gas. And
we're here to support local law enforcement, the Sheriff's Office, LAPD, but they didn't need that support.
no, I want you to, hello, Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, our lobby is securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Huerta. Right.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is happening
here? Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Werther, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back to my caucus about what's happening, but they have...
Los Angeles is my home from Kamala Harris, and like so many Americans, I'm appalled at what we are witnessing on the streets of our city. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. No, the chaos was provoked by the fact that you let so many illegal immigrants into your city. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation as part of Trump's administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. Not your open border policies, Kamala. Of course not. No, this is Trump's fault. This administration actions are not about public safety. Yes, they are. They're about stoking fear. No, they're not. Fear of a community demanding dignity and due process. Protest is a powerful tool. Essential in fight for justice. You see how they all continue to try to drum up more protest? And as the LAPD, mayor, and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful after everything I just showed you. I continue to support the millions of Americans who are standing up to protect our most fundamental rights and freedoms, except they're not all Americans on the streets, are they? No, they're not. And where was there one statement in there to stop the violence, stop hurting police, stop hurting federal law enforcement officials, stop destroying property? Not a single mention in that entire statement. And that is the real problem.
Is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And again, any violence against police officers should not be accepted. Local authorities can handle that. We are now at a point where we have a president who sat back and did nothing as people stormed our Capitol, viciously beat police. And then when those people who viciously beat police and led to some of their deaths, therefore cop killers, were convicted by juries, he then pardoned them all.
We agree that if you're being violent, you should be arrested, you should be prosecuted. There is no disagreement on that. I think that's an effort that we can all say. But this is not what's happening. We are having an administration that's targeting peaceful protests, people that are there to protest.
I'd love to get your response to Governor Newsom saying, essentially, that your actions here are provocative, and the quote that he used was sowing chaos.
Look, Governor Newsom's an embarrassment for the state.
The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. So Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
They were literally out there protesting, carrying a foreign flag. That is absolutely insane. I mean, they're not just peaceful protesters. Well, these are illegals. These are exactly why the president is trying to secure our border.
All right, well, carrying a flag is not illegal.
They know how quickly we mobilize. That's why they're changing tactics. Because community defense works and our resistance has slowed them down before. And if they're escalating their tactics, then so are we. When they show up...
Obviously some provocation here from the president in several facets. As we see, here we go. Those demonstrators are making their way down the ramp and onto the 101 freeway. This is, I think, a concern that we had seen a little earlier. The freeway had been shut down by law enforcement, and it is now being shut down by the other side. Demonstrators are on the surface of the southbound 101 freeway and blocking traffic.
What's the bar for sending Marines to
the bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. We're going to be watching it very closely. And when they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military, which they do as a common thing. They get up to them this far away, and then they start spitting in their face. that happens, they get hit very hard.
California officials could face federal charges if they stand in the way of the deportation, something that Holman may have suggested.
If officials stand in the way of law and order, yeah, they will face charges.
Insurrection Act, you still plan to send troops?
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden.
So what do we have here? Mayor Karen Bass secures major federal support for community partners to assist newly arrived LA migrant families. The Department of Homeland Security this week announced that Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass secured federal support for the Coalition for Human Immigrant Rights, and we continue to fund them today, mind you. What do they stand for? Well, just read the bottom bullet point. LA Raids Rapid Response Network. So in other words, they can get a lot of people there to counter the action of Tom Homan's immigration enforcement. And we've now seen what that looks like. A number of NGOs are implicated in this. Foremost is the Coalition for Human Immigration Rights. And the photos of signs show that they were printed by PSLWEB. PSL what? Party for Socialism and Liberation. Oh, this sounds great, huh? I can't see why things are exploding out there. And who's funding them? That's right. If you're in California, your tax dollars are. And as a matter of fact, part of my tax dollars are funding them too. To the tune of, due to government contracts, over $33 million. You are funding the destruction of Los Angeles. Isn't that just an impeccable find, huh? So make sure, before you point that golden finger of blame, you know who you're pointing it at and what you are culpable for. You gotta love this, huh? There's the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta. I don't even know, doesn't matter. What is his statement? We've been in touch with local law enforcement in LA. They have the resources they need to meet the moment. Well, not from what we're seeing. And we stand ready to assist should the need arise. No, the need has already arisen. If not, you haven't watched a single darn thing that's happening. There's no emergency, and the president's order calling in the National Guard is unnecessary and counterproductive. Well, that didn't age too well now, did it, Rob? Because you guys have just done a bang-up job. No, this is out of control, but thankfully we have someone who actually knows how to lead. Looking really bad in LA. Bring in the troops. So now what is the question here? Does Trump pull the Insurrection Act? Legal experts, insiders speculate that Trump's team is already reviewing the Insurrection Act. This could be a moment the military is called in to restore order in a rogue state, and that's what we have. The Insurrection Act has been used before. This wouldn't be unprecedented. But in a blue state, against government-funded and what it appears and sounds like, because I played all the clips for you, supported chaos, well, that's uncharted territory. Because if California's own government's funding the destruction of its cities, what's stopping Trump from using every tool available, including military? So let me get this all straight, right? Trump enforces federal law. Illegal migrants riot. California funds the chaos. Newsom wants to blame anyone but himself, as always. This isn't just a failure of leadership, it's a coordinated insurgency hiding under the label of humanitarianism. And if the Insurrection Act is next, well, Gavin might want to book his next French Laundry dinner somewhere with military clearance. Because, folks, we have a mess, and I have one question for you. Should Trump use the Insurrection Act? Yes or no? I can't wait to see your feedback. Man, I love you all. Till next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.